Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Jai Jai Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody.
Pranam Swamiji.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Pranam, pranam, pranam.
Namaskaram Swamiji.
Namaskar. For the sake of some friends who are sitting before me, we thought we would go through again Puja Mataji's words. When writing about Papa, Mataji would never refer to him except by describing his impersonal attributes, such as he who, having become everything, transcends everything, or Nirgur, Nirakar, Nirguna, Shashwata, or all-merciful, all-pervading Papa. If anyone wrote Beloved Papa, she would immediately say that is not the way you should write. There must always be an adjective showing its attributes like eternal, infinite Papa, Purushottam Papa, all-merciful Papa, all-compassionate Papa, all-transcendent Papa. You should never think of Papa as an individual or as the body. Keep always in mind that Papa is everything and beyond everything, he is God himself. Mataji was once asked, how can we consider anything that is transitory that gradually perishes as God? Papa's body, we know, is also subject to the law of nature and has to perish sooner or later. Mataji replied, Papa is not merely this body. Papa is in this body, works through this body, which is purified and made divine. So you can worship that body also as God himself, because it is through this body you are initiated, guided, helped and blessed. She would say, our Purushottam Papa is Nirguna Nirakara Adiyantarahita Shashwata. He himself manifested as the universe in its unnumbered forms. He is also seated in our hearts. Such a Papa has taken the form of Swami Ramdas to show us the way to his eternal Sarup. Papa gave me the precious Ram Nam and asked me to chant it constantly. He added that when chanting the name, I should meditate on his eternal Sarup. He is Nirguna Nirakara Adiyantarahita Shashwata, that he has manifested as the universe and is seated in our hearts. We have read this many a times. So when she says, when Ramnam is given, Papa asked her to meditate on his eternal Sarup. How are we to practice? This is a real challenge to all of us. When Papa said in In Quest of God, first chapter, meditated and chanted. Not chanted and meditated. Meditated and chanted. So meditate on the impersonal aspect. and to remember us that chanted this. We are finding it difficult because we did not start with that. How to start? That is the real toughest challenge before all of us. How to develop this impersonal aspect, while chanting. So first of all, should we not meditate upon that aspect by which we become clear about we may not be 100% clear, but somewhat clear, or intellectually clear about the impersonal aspect. We have been reading this, Papa gave me the precious Ram Naam and asked me to chant it constantly. He added that when chanting the name, I should meditate on his eternal Swarup. How to go near this eternal Swarup? Anybody has got anything to say?
Think of space, Swami. Thinking of space.
Think about space, yes. So Ram stands for that space. That is Nirguna Nirahara Adi Antarajita Shashvata. Very good. Then, have you been able to do that?
Trying, Swami, trying.
Trying. Very good. Then any other approach?
Swamiji,
Ah,
that impersonal aspect or whatever we call it, energy, Shakti, whatever, that which has been with me all the time and is with me right now.
yes.
Swami Subbu Charu would like to talk to you, say something.
Eh?
One person called Subbu Charu is raising his hand.
Raising his hand.
Raising the hand.
Yes. Hari Om.
Who is raising the hand?
Subbu Charu.
That is Charuma.
Chairuma, yes.
Or maybe she's doing it by mistake.
Okay. Then,
Swami, could we think about it as everything in life is constantly changing, but that which is not changing, there is a state which is infinitely changeless, in spite of everything which is constantly changing around us.
good. Yes. Then, are we in a position to stick on to that while chanting?
Not always, but at least once in a while.
Once in a while. Yes, then.
Hari Om,
Yes.
Hari Om Swamiji. Swamiji, when we think the breath that we take,
When we
Is-
think of the breath that we take,
yes, Swamiji, this breath is what God's power, God is. This breath is what Papa is. It helps us. And so, Swamiji, it's not only in the meditation room, but even when we are doing anything, we we focus on our breath. At that moment, again, we think about Papa. So, Swamiji, the continuous meditation that we want to do, and thinking of the Nirakar Swarup, if we think, and as Padma Mataji just now said the word energy, so from that word energy, I thought that thinking of Papa as our breath, and and then focusing on the breath. It's then, Swamiji, I mean, this is probably
Very,
this.
very good, very good, very good, very good. Yes, they are all that power. Is the breath of our breaths. Yes, correct. Then anything else? Space is correct. Energy is correct. The changes of stratum is correct. The breath of our breath is correct. These are all these do not have any form. That means Papa is making it very, very clear to us. We are moving towards him. These are all the indications. Whether we are in a position to keep it up all the waking state, that's a different question. But at least now he is giving some light. So during chanting or during non-chanting, all these things are ever existing with us. So it will definitely help us. It will definitely help us. Anything else? You see now for the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks, only this particular article of Papa or revelations of Mataji are coming back again and again, that showing us the indication that we should concentrate upon this aspect. Otherwise, our sadhana may become superficial. Now, in order that it goes within, the indication is the mind is being slowly trained to meditate upon that which makes the mind to meditate upon. We are slowly meditating upon that which makes the mind to meditate upon. Even the mind may not know, but the mind knows now. The changes of stratum, the power, the space, the void, the great void, and also the breathing. In order that we get more and more clarity, we thought we would read one more article of Papa, but few words of Papa. The path to the source of your and the world's being is not without. It is within. You have to go within yourself. You must go past your senses, mind and intellect. You must traverse beyond all your ideas and ideals. You must transcend all limits, conditions and tastes. Then alone you have the fullest vision and realization of your immortal root. This root is also the root of all that exists, the visible and the invisible worlds, and all beings, creatures in them. Now you realize that one common existence has evolved, the variety of manifestations observed all around you. Your perplexity is totally extinct. The knotty problems of your life are solved once for all. You know that you are one with all lives, one with the entire universe. Infinity is your true existence. Eternal bliss is your real nature. Birth, change, death are passing and playful events in your cosmic life and spirit. Your life, in tune with the infinite God, has now reached the heaven where everlasting felicity and bliss dwells. In one word, you have realized your supreme Godhead. The path to the source of your and the world's being is not outside. You have to go within yourself. You must go past your senses, mind and intellect. You must traverse beyond all your ideas and ideals. You must transcend all limits, conditions and tastes. Then alone you will have the fullest vision and realization of your immortal root. This immortal root is also the root of all that exists, the visible and the invisible, and all beings and creatures in them. Now you realize that one common existence has evolved the variety of manifestations observed all around you. So coming back to Mataji's words, when writing about Papa, Mataji would never refer to him except by describing his impersonal attributes, such as he who having become everything, transcends everything, or Nirakar, Nirguna, Shashwata Papa, or all merciful, all pervading Papa. If anyone wrote beloved Papa, she would immediately say, this is not the way you should write. There must always be an adjective showing his attributes, like eternal, infinite Papa, Purushottam Papa, all merciful Papa, all compassionate Papa, all transcendent Papa. You should never think of Papa as an individual or as the body. Keep always in mind that Papa is everything and beyond everything, he is God himself. She would say, our Purushottam Papa is Nirguna, Nirakara, Adiyantarahita, Shashwata. He has also himself manifested as the universe in its unnumbered forms. He is also seated in our hearts. Papa gave me the precious Ram Nam and asked me to chant it constantly. He added that when chanting the name, I should meditate on his eternal Swarup, that he is Nirguna, Nirakar, Adiyantarahita, Shashwata. He has manifested as the universe and he is seated in our hearts. So don't you think that Papa is now slowly training us to meditate on him during the non-chanting time? Our mind may be going here and there, but he is slowly pulling us up and putting us on the rails so that we get some more clarity about when we utter the word Papa. When somebody said, he is the changeless, we were just sharing here and there, foreknown, as we have already shared in the Satsangs. That is, at least intellectually we can get convinced about it. The changes that are happening on the changeless. We buy a site and build a house. After some time we modify the house. We change the house. We change the rooms. We change the utility of the room. So many changes we have made. But all things stay on that changeless site. The site ever remains unchanged, untouched, unaffected.
Swamiji, few days before there was a thought for the day in which Papa says oceans, the still has its forms as waves, bubbles, foam. They all come and go.
Yeah.
Ocean remains as it is.
Exactly. So whenever we are given whether it is 1 second or 5 seconds or 1 minute or 5 minutes or half an hour. Suppose we try to bring in this aspect, then probably we might get more and more clarity on Mataji's words that whenever we chant Ram Nam, we should think about this singular aspect, the substratum. In the modern times, all of us have Aadhaar cards. Aadhaar means our substratum, base, avalambanam, prop. In the Vyavaharic language, it is Aadhaar card. And what does this Aadhaar card relate? What does it contain? The label of this body, name, when it was born, and who is the father. That means our roots. And suppose our father is alive. He also has got an Aadhaar card. His name, his date of birth, his father's name. Suppose my grandfather is also alive. He has got an Aadhaar card. His name, his date of birth, and his father's name. Wait. I keep on thinking. So exactly what Papa wants us to know, our own roots. He is showing us through the Aadhaar card. Initially, we have these three details. The name, the label with which we are identified. The date of birth. And the source. Suppose I stop with my father and my his Aadhaar card, suppose I happen to see. Suddenly I remember, no, he is not the source, he is the instrumental cause. But he also has got a source, We become aware. And suppose the great-grandfather is available and he has got an Aadhaar card. Had he been alive, government would also ask him to get an Aadhaar card, And what that Aadhaar card would have said? His name, his date of birth, and his father. Similarly, when we try to go beyond that, we don't get it, But we all know now the procedure. So our Aadhaar, our base, our substratum is on these three aspects. So the first Aadhaar which is beginningless. The first cannot be, it cannot become the first, Swami Chinmayanandaji used to mention it as the uncaused cause. A cause which is not subject to this cause and effect theory, the first primal. When we say Adi Antarehida, we get some idea now. Beginningless and endless. That is our Aadhaar. That is our starting point. So Mataji, when Papa asked her to chant Ram Nam, Mataji was asked to go to this source, this root, this origin, meditating on this origin and to remember that chanting the name. That will slowly make us to move towards that root. Papa gave me the precious Ram Nam and asked me to chant it constantly. He added that when chanting the name, I should meditate on his eternal Swarup. He is Adi Antarahita, Shashwata, Nirguna, Nirakara. Now somebody said it is changeless. It is Nirguna Nirakara. No? We cannot explain beyond that. Somebody said it's a power. Papa named it as the structural and mysterious power. It has no name and form. Somebody said the one which is activating the breathing. It has no name and form. Somebody said the space. That is also Adi Antarahita. No name and form. So now, having taken up this stage, our attempt now is when we chant Ramnam, we are trying to meditate on the source from which we have all come. Now we will again read the truth. The path to the source of your and world's origin is not outside. You have to go within yourself. You must go past your senses, mind and intellect. Because it is Nirguna Nirakar. Nirguna Nirakar cannot be brought within the ambit of anything that is knowable. Only knowable can be expressed. Our mind, intellect, senses, everything can know only that which is knowable. Then you must transcend all limits, conditions and tastes. Then alone you will have the fullest vision and realization of your immortal root, whose name we are chanting. This immortal root is also the root of all that exists. The visible and the invisible worlds and all beings and creatures in them. Now you realize that one common existence has evolved the variety of manifestations observed all around you. Your perplexity is totally extinct. Naughty problems of your life are solved once and for all. Do you know that you are one with all lives, one with the entire universe? Infinity is your true existence. Eternal bliss is your real nature. Birth, change, death are passing and playful events in your cosmic life and spirit. Your life, in tune with the infinite God, has now reached the heaven where everlasting felicity and peace dwells. In one word, you have realized your supreme Godhead. Now slowly it dawns upon us that how Ramnam takes us from stage to stage to our original nature. Papa says, go to the origin of your and the world life. To know who you are in reality is the real question. So when we buy a site and build a house, we get stuck with the building. Because it is the building that gives us a comfortable life. In that process, we unknowingly forget the site. Without the site, the building cannot come. So we were purely, our mind is fully full with the building, not the site. Site is our origin, site is the root. Building will come and go. Building can be modified. Building is used for various purposes. It can be for a residence, it can be for a school, it can be for a toilet, it can be for so many things. But the sight remains untouched, unaffected. We have forgotten that. So we give a name to that origin and then try to remember. Without this background, if I chant, I may not become closer to the source. That is why Papa asked Mataji, while chanting, you should remember the base. And in this article, Papa says, what is the tangible? Why should I do that? Then only I will know that everything has come from the source. So my relationship with my co-creation become harmonious. I will not isolate myself from the rest of the creation, which is what I am doing unknowingly. The me and mine has come up only because I have isolated myself, divorced myself from the rest of the creation. And because of that, various problems arose. So while I continue to function as an individual, if I become aware, the common denominator in all creation, the source of all creation, then I may be able to harmoniously live, peacefully coexist with others. That is what I want. God realization, all these things are secondary for me. I want to live peacefully with others, harmoniously with others. At home, in the field of profession, with friends. These are the three tiers where I exist as an individual. Early morning when I get up, I become a family being. When I go to the field of profession, I become a professional being. When I am with my friends, I become a social being. When my mind says that I am undergoing spiritual discipline, I am a spiritual being or a sadhak being. But in all these tiers, I need harmony. That only I need peace. So the moment I come to realize the common denominator, common root of all things, my relationship with the rest of the creation becomes harmonious. It will help me to reduce the me and mine factor in my life. That is a tangible gain, palpable gain. You become one with the entire universe means what? It is not that the individual becomes one. No. What is that sound? What is that sound?
Something is coming from Ramu Kaka's thing. I've muted it.
Muted.
I muted it.
Okay. So let us try to connect it with our day-to-day life, Because immediately after this session, none of us will be sitting in the upper floor. We go back to our family, we go back to our field of profession, we go back to our friend circle. So when I go there, what is the tangible gain? That means I must have harmony. Everything comes to zeros to this harmony. Harmony comes only when the domination of me and mine comes down. Me and mine will come down only when we try to identify the common denominator in everybody. Kindly think about all these things. These are all the ways by which spirituality and ordinary life or common life gets intertwined. Otherwise, both remain separate. During the so-called labeled spiritual practices, our mind says we are doing spiritual practice, we are doing Ramnam, we are doing Bhajan, we are doing this and that. We are in Satsang session. Other times, it is not there. We are back to our usual me and mind. So what is it that I should do to destroy, demolish this fortress, the one that divides? We feel this should be our approach. How to harmonize our life. At home, in the office, with friends, or in the field of profession, wherever. That is why you all remember Papa used to say spirituality that cannot be applied in actual life is no spirituality. It is not alag alag nahi. They are not separate. They are one and the same. We don't know the technique. Right from childhood, we have in our mind a divide. This is spiritual, this is worldly. So at the time of hearing, at the time of doing all these things, we develop a sattvic attitude. We really enjoy. But the moment the session is over, the me and mind comes back to us, completely takes possession of us. And therefore our rights and wrongs, our likes and dislikes, our preferences, our priorities, our preconceived notions, our ambition, our attachment, our cravings, our infatuations, our bondages, everything remains intact. So along with Ram Nam chanting, suppose we try to dwell on these, or if it is impossible to do that simultaneously, whenever we have time, suppose we dwell on it, meditate upon this, reflect upon this. Slowly the effect of which will stay with us for a longer time. And then when we take up chanting, slowly that impact will also enter into the Ramnam. And that will give us more clarity about what Papa told Mataji, that while chanting you should bring the attributeless attribute of God. It is an attribute, but it is not an attribute in the sense we understand it as an attribute. It is something beyond all our thinkings, our defining. So this is the point which now it is being emphasized by Papa. You have to combine all these things. Because unlike Papa or Mataji, when they took up this, they were exclusively sitting with it. We are all having our own activities. Along with that, we also would like to know about it. We are not full-timers. To offset the imbalances created by this life, we have to bring in these factors. If you are full-timers, like when you take up a course of study, you go to the course. You go to that particular college either in India or abroad. You are away from your field of contacts. You are exclusively sitting upon it. 3 or 4 years you study. Then you come back or get an employment based upon that there. There is an exclusive attention. Where your attention is not diverted to anything else. In our case, it is not so. As soon as we are back from the temple, as soon as we are back from the ashram, as soon as we are back from our reading on any such subjects, as soon as we come back after the satsang or swadhyaya session, we are again with the same. There is no exclusiveness. The me and mind, which has defined the rights and wrongs, the likes and dislikes, whatever we have explained, it is there in our mind. And based upon that, we interact with the world. And naturally, so many rebounds will be there. It disturbs the tranquility of the mind. Actually, also we attend. But by the time it tries to clear off certain things, again, after 1 hour or 2 hours, we are back again to the same field with the same mind. So now it is becoming clear to us that Mataji wanted us to express this so that even during the non-chanting time, there will be a constant effort on our part to live up to those ideals so that even though we are not full-timers, even when we react to events and individuals, some impact of this will be reflected in our thoughts, words, and deeds. Those who have taken on a full-time basis, their speed might be faster. In our case, it might be a little slow. That's all. We have seen that even when we stay in a spiritual institutional ashram, even though we can say we are all exclusively, we are not exclusively on that. Under the banner of seva or something, the me and mind comes stealthily in us and takes away whatever we have gained through our labeled sadhana, unknowingly. That is why in one of the letters, Puja Swamiji mentioned that ashrams do not produce a Mahatma. Ashrams comes up around a Mahatma. Because this is purely an internal evolution that is taking place. So even in ashram, there are so many points, so many times when we are giving chances for the me and mind to come. Even with the Guru, we differ. It is so strong. So all those can be answered when we go through Mataji's words again and again and again and again. That when we chant, we should chant first is it constantly. What are the words? Forgot. Papa gave me the precious Ramna, asked me to chant it constantly. He added that when chanting the name, I should meditate on his eternal swarup. And also gave some more clarity. Papa gave me Papa also asked me to look upon whatever work I did as his service. Because this is addressed to us. Whatever work I did, I should treat it as his service. Whatever work, not merely the labeled one, the puja room activities or something, any activity, cooking, cleaning, house management, getting prepared for the office work, going there and doing office work, spending some time with friends and try to involve ourselves in some social work, anything and everything. Papa also asked me to look upon whatever work I did as his service. This simple sadhana, he made me do by his grace alone, and revealed himself in my heart and gave me the experience of my oneness with him. You taught us to utter Ram Nam. You taught us to meditate, treating all thoughts that arose in my mind as yourself, with a view to ultimately revealing yourself in our hearts. All thoughts, not branding, labeling. No? Good, bad, favorable, unfavorable, creative, destructive, ennobling, depressing, no, without putting that label. You taught us to utter Ram Nam. You taught us to meditate, treating all thoughts that arose in my mind as yourself, with a view to ultimately revealing yourself in our hearts. You taught us to do as your service whatever work that came to us in whatever situation. Oh, my all-knowing Papa, by these three things, making us talk with the mouth, thinking our thoughts with the mind, doing our work with the body. You made us do sadhana naturally, simultaneously. So, my kindness incarnate Papa, pray, make us utter your name with the mouth, meditate on you with the mind, do service to you with the body in whatever situation you have placed us. This demolishes the divide between spiritual and worldly. In simple words, Mataji, make us utter your name with the mouth, meditate on you with the mind, service to you with the body, in whatever condition you have placed us. The essence of sadhana is simple, uncomplicated, innocent words, using all these. Puja Mataji placed before us in a capsule form, as it were. So we try to remember as much as possible, dwell on it as much as possible, try as much as possible. And now we feel that of late when we are given strong prompting to involve ourselves in Mauna sessions, it is not as a change in our sadhana system, it is only to intensify our efforts. Because just now we read, this is something that is inward, inward, inward. The path to the source of your and the world's being is not outside. You have to go within yourself. You have to go past your senses, mind, and intellect. You must traverse beyond all your ideas and ideals. You must transcend all limits, conditions, and tastes. Then alone you have the fullest vision and realization of your immortal root. So we will all try this by chanting Ram Nam, and not to limit only during the time of chanting Ram Nam. Handling everything, reacting to events and individuals. in any field or in all fields, we will not say, I'm doing sadhana, please don't disturb me. No. That means sadhana should, the moment I get up till I retire, we pray to him, kindly remind, please, I forget. The moment I utter the word I sadhana, I immediately think about chanting of Ramnam, doing bhajan or Svadhyaya or Satsang. And rest of the things I have named it as worldly feelings. It enabled me to replace everything with sadhana. Everything is my sadhana. We cannot do it by ourselves. So we pray, we invoke his blessings. Today I have failed. I could not even succeed for one. I always treated everything as an incident, as a reaction to the events and individuals. I never brought you in the picture. So it enabled me to extend the concept of my sadhana to all that I think, all that I talk, all that I do. At least initially as much as possible. At the end of the day, so when I take the stock take, please enable me to realize I have brought you in the picture more than what I did yesterday. When we practice this, our Ramnam will become more and more effective. Otherwise, it will be a program, an activity. Not that it will not have any impact, it will have some impact. Not what is expected of us. We have understood from our own life, Not that we have not been doing Ramnam. But have you opened up for everybody? So that will reveal to us that in spite of doing Ramnam, we have not been able to get over. Now we realize that it is because this dimension has not been brought at all times. No, you must try to spend it as much as possible. And Mataji, these words become more and more clear. That you taught us to utter Ramnam, you taught us how to meditate, treating all thoughts that arose in the mind as yourself. All thoughts. With a view to ultimately revealing yourself in our hearts. You taught us to do as your service whatever work that came to us in whatever situation. So that means sadhana is not restricted to one particular field or one particular time. To a particular act. O limitless ocean of love, Papa, you descended in the human form and you taught us by yourself doing sadhana to realize and become the infinite eternal self. You taught us to utter Ramnam. You taught us how to meditate, treating all thoughts that arose in the mind as yourself. You taught us to do as your service whatever work that came to us in whatever situation. Only my all-knowing Papa, by these three things. Oh, my all-knowing Papa, by these three things, making us talk with mouth, thinking out our thoughts with mind, doing work with our body, you made us do sadhana naturally, simultaneously. So Mataji clearly defined what is sadhana now. So make us utter your name with the mouth, meditate on you with the mind, do service to you with the body. in whatever situation you have placed us. Make us utter your name with the mouth in whatever situation you have placed us. Meditate on you with the mind in whatever situation you have placed us. Do service with you, with the body, in whatever situation you have placed us. In whatever situation you have placed us, that is very important. That means we are not limiting sadhana to a particular time, particular place, particular situation. So far, I was feeling that when I go to temple, I must concentrate on God's thought. When I go to ashram, I must concentrate on God's thought. When I am attending session, satsang session, I must do that. Whenever I take up Swadhyaya, I must do that. Suppose I take up meditation for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, then after I come back, it's entirely different one. Unknowingly, I have limited myself, thinking that that would help me. In some it would have helped, but most of us, it has not helped. So that is why probably Mataji thought we should be prompted to dwell upon this. Whatever situation you have played, God has placed us, we should be able to. That means there is no divide. Kindly think about it and let us see how this can be made a practice. How to bring this idea. It may not be possible at one go. One method could be that early morning we try to go through this before we start our transacting with the world outside. We try to get ourselves committed to this, today. Enable me, please, to bring out thoughts, to talk in terms of universal, think in terms of universal, do in terms of universal, and not in terms of individual. These are also his words. He says, always think in terms of universal, not in terms of individual. Talk in terms of universal, not in terms of individual. Do in terms of individual, do in terms of universal, not in terms of individual. Whenever it gets self-centered, thinking, talking, and doing, we keep on praying and try to involve, and let us see how does it help us. Anything on this comes up or wells up in anybody's mind?
Swamiji, early morning நம்ம டயலாக் பாப்பா கிட்ட நேரடியா பேசுற மாதிரி நீங்க தான் எல்லாம் பண்ண வைக்கிறேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நம்ம அவர்கிட்ட ப்ளீட் பண்ணிட்டு நமக்காக மெடிடேஷன் எல்லாம் ஆரம்பிச்சுக்கணும் சுவாமிஜி. ப்ளீடிங் அண்ட் அவர்கிட்டயும் சொல்லி டயலாக் தான் சுவாமிஜி, நேரடி யாரும் இல்லை, நம்ம தானே எழுந்து இருக்கோம், அவர்கிட்ட பேசணும்.
And that is why, every day in ashram, Mataji has introduced in our Arati, Tvameva Mata Japita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya, all that I know. Dravinam Tvameva, all the wealthy factors, wealth that you make me to possess. Then you say, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. It comes, automatically we chant, but no impact, Kayena vacha, manasa indriyairuva, buddhyatmanavad, prakrite swabhavat, karomi yadyat, sakalam parasmai, sakalam. Not only this, Srimad Narayana Samarpaya. So whether it is Kaya, Manasa, whether it is Vak, whether it is words, thoughts, words and deeds, whatever I do, I am surrendering. Not that we are bringing anything new. Puja Mataji has inserted all these things in our daily program. But unfortunately, we have taken it as a ritual. That is why it has not left any deep impact in us. Because the me and mine is intact, even after hearing. So now what we need is to reframe our mindset and then repeat the same mantra. This Tvameva Matacha and this Kayena Vacha, those of us who are in ashram, who are repeating it, we should know this dimension of surrender. Every day,
Swamiji.
many of us may know the meaning. So this dimension should be there in our heart. Otherwise it is a mere word, mere expression. Nice to hear, set in a beautiful tune, nice to hear, we will also repeat it. So when it is repeated with this bhavana, even that, the mantra gets a different dimension. When Swami Chidanandaji used to sing this, some of you might have heard it. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhu cha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya drivinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. When he closes his eyes and when he repeats this word, he makes us to travel with that sound, not merely the words, but something of the theme covered by it. We immediately attribute to him and again we keep quiet. What he wants us is when we repeat, we again emphasize, we make a commitment, I have understood that all my thoughts, kayena vacha, manasendriyeva, whatever my senses, whatever my body, whatever my mind, whatever it does, I am offering to you. I may fail, I may forget, but let me knowingly repeat that, And this Tvameva Mata, the me and mind will definitely become less and less, We are every day committing ourselves before our Guru or before the chosen deity. That everything is Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Everything is yours. I am also yours. Tujani Deva, Tuja Chikara. So we say and every day, make me one with you. Make me, what is that?
Make me thine and thine.
I should become one with you.
Thine and thine only.
Thine and thine
Thine
only.
and-
I must become thine and thine only forever and ever. Correct. This is the commitment every day we are making. While the flag hoisting takes place, we are reminded it's a commitment, that I want to scale the heights. The flag goes on, up. So hoisting the flag is symbolically renewing our commitment to move on the higher plane. So all rituals, all these things, prayers, everything have been given to us so that when we knowingly doing it, it gives a boost, a push, a fillip to our efforts to move forward. Then only what Mataji envisages, that this sadhana becomes, our life becomes a sadhana. Right from the moment we get up in the morning till we retire to bed, whatever thoughts, words and do, whatever thoughts, words and deeds that emanate from this sense of individuality is offered to him. They are offered at his holy feet. We fail, we forget. Don't worry, let us not worry. As much as possible. Because it won't go, it cannot. Out of 100, if you are in a position to do it one with that attitude, then one can truly become. So let us try to go through all these things and dwell upon it in background. And the very fact that Mataji or Papa are not leaving us and making us to go back again and again and again to their words, that is an ample proof of their concern for our spiritual journey. We will try to make the best use of it as much as possible. Day after tomorrow at what time?
Srinathji's house, we have Satsang that day. So from there,
3:30.
3:30 to 4:30.
Tomorrow we have a Satsang program. Anyway, don't worry about it. The day after tomorrow we have another Satsang program. We are not sure about whether it will be possible for us to do it or not. We will try and we will inform everybody. This is the trend. And during this tomorrow and the after, by God's grace, the organizers have been prompted to spend more time in contemplating upon these, not merely chanting. The chanting will be followed by Mauna sessions, reflections, Bhakti meditation, writing of Ramna, breathing exercises. That means how to train our mind to become, to take up this sadhana attitude as much time as possible in our daily life. This is how they are prompted and the organizers, and they themselves have named it self-exploration. It is not Ramnam chanting session. Self-exploration. We are trying to explore who really we are through a variety of exercises, including Ramnam, and then see for ourselves whether there is, even if it is a snail's progress, worth it. Of the 6 or 7 or 10 hours, in one case it starts at 10 o'clock, closes at 5 o'clock. In another 9 to 6. So an effort is being made. Not to conduct the usual Ramnam chanting and having our food and then go. No, certainly not. Even when we perform Arati, we will try to go and dwell upon it and then perform the Arati. So that nothing comes at the superficial level. Even when we are observing Maun, why are we observing? What all attempts should we take to channelize, to divert the mind's attention from the usual field to a little higher field, even while chanting Ram. So that means, Papa is arranging everything to ensure that we get more and more oriented towards sadhana, and to spread as many activities as possible in our day-to-day activities. Ayo. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram.